last week, Twin Cities nurses voted to strike. We get the latest on when that strike could happen from a union representative who will be live in our studio. Well, earlier this week, the Minnesota Nurses Association voted overwhelmingly in favor of a strike. That much we know. Everything else isn't exactly clear. The strike vote means the 12,000 nurses at 14 metro hospitals can walk out any time after their contract expires June 1st. The union must give a 10-day notice on their intent to strike. The bargaining units are meeting later today, so it's possible that 10-day notice could be issued earlier this week, which means the strike would occur sometimes toward the end of the first week in June. Hospital, meanwhile, are busy preparing plans on how they will operate with replacement nurses and nursing supervisors filling in. And I am joined now by John Nemo from the Minnesota Nurses Association. Thank you so much for coming in.
Sure thing.
And I do want to say at the start that we did invite the hospitals to come on. They were unable to make it this Sunday. We do hope to have them on following shows. Let me ask you, when are you going to give a 10-day notice? You folks have said you are going to strike. When is that going to happen?
Well, again, it's something that's where our bargaining team leaders are meeting right now to determine that, to evaluate everything that's happened thus far, to figure out the best strategy moving forward. And again, top at their concern list is how any strike is going to impact patient safety and the best way to do that and the best environment to do it in.
All right. So you're meeting later today, the individual bargaining units. These are individual bargaining units. Are they going to coordinate, though, in terms of when they have the strike? Will it all be at the same time, or will Fairview have a strike on one day and Abbott on another day?
Well, I think it's all being determined right now. I mean, I don't think there's any hard, set, fast plan, and I think that's something that's going to be talked about in the meetings today.
All right. Any concern? One of the things that the hospital said is, you know, this claim by the nurses to just have a one-day strike isn't possible. That the nurses are going to have to miss more than one day's paycheck because we can't flip our replacement nurses out of there and flip everything around. Patient censuses are going to be down. The nurses are going to have to be out more than one day. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, I think the hospitals really believe the Twin Cities public, reporters like you and their nurses maybe are more gullible than Forrest Gump. I mean, this just isn't true. This is a fact that there are staffing agencies all over the country that do short-term contracts, 2-day contracts, 3-day contracts. There's no reason that can't be negotiated. And, you know, our nurses are putting their entire playbook on WCCO TV. It's not that we're, you know, keeping anything secret. And the hospitals, again, it's just a continued effort to be disingenuous to the public. And I want to give a couple quick examples about that, if that's okay. One is the key issue holding this up is staffing. And everyone's talking about staffing. And the hospital's public message is, you know, staffing's fine. There's no data to show that it impacts patient outcomes. Well, the reality is, I mean, even a trained monkey can tell you that the more RNs you put on the floor, the safer the patients are. And if I was to bring in all the national data backing that fact up, I'd have to cut down a small forest.
All right. Well, let's talk, though, about the economic pressures that the hospitals are facing, because they are very, very real. And I think anybody working in other professions is doing a lot more with less. You know, do you feel that nurses should be exempt from that because of what they do?
Well, Esme, if that were the reality of the situation in the hospitals, that would be fine. But again, it's disingenuous that their public message is the hospitals are broke. The Twin Cities hospitals made $700 million in profits during 2009. So if I'm an employee at a corporation that just made almost $1 billion in profit last year, does it make sense for me to anticipate that they should cut my pension by 1/3, freeze my wages, make me pay more for health care? That's just not true. The hospitals are booming. I mean, these guys are waking up in the morning in cold hard cash. They're doing wonderfully. During the worst year since the Great Depression, these guys made $700 million in profits. Again, their message publicly is they're trying to play on the economy and that we're broke, everyone needs to take their hit, but that's not the reality.
All right. Well, John Nemo, we look forward to obviously following this situation, and we will have updates on later editions of WCCO TV News today. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right.